Hey, hi, and most importantly, hello. You can see we've got a long Kendama commentary coming right down the pipeline today. I take it more as like podcast vibes, a podcast with, some supplementary visuals of me grinding out a trick in the background. I thought this would really be a good opportunity to cover a lot of stuff because this session was a grind for a dare that I got, which I will get to. And yeah, it ended up taking me around 30 minutes outside to crank it out this day. And I thought, you know what, instead, I usually chop up these Kendama commentaries down, I cut out all the filler, but I thought it'd be cool to see literally the entire process of nailing this trick. So you'll see right from when I stepped outside to my warm-ups to the progression of me struggling a bit and then learning to nail this trick down. So before we get right into it, I will say the video will kind of just have to tell its own story in the background. I'm not going to, commentate over every time I adjust the camera or step on something in my flip-flops. It's more if you want to watch the trick progression and my whole session unfold, that's what you'll see in the video. If you want to hear what I am blabbing about and listen to some hopefully insightful and interesting audio in the background, that's what the audio half is going to be. And hopefully it'll all come together as one full experience. It was a pretty windy and chilly day, so I will say that the cool breeze and the blowing trees and all these things, I couldn't really help. I had to unlock the exposure on my phone camera to be able to see at all what I was doing and not blast out my pale white skin with the sunlight. So if it kind of jumps from dark to light and stuff is blowing and moving around, just treat it as like a augmented reality experience and imagine you're one of those trees swaying in the breeze, and hopefully that makes it a little better than just, oh, this guy can't record clips in his backyard. Anyways, I will introduce to you the dare that I am going to be chasing, and that comes from none other than my man Squabbles, and I really do think he proposed a great trick, which I think might be one of the hardest tricks I've ever tried to learn. It is the early Ken flip, pull up, early Ken flip, juggle, late Ken flip, and then juggle to spike. Now, one of the hardest tricks I hit before, which you might have seen as like a short video on this channel, was the early Ken flip, juggle, late Ken flip directly to spike, which I struggled with for a long time. And I knew that trying to get this trick indoors probably wasn't going to cut it. I'm too scared of knocking over all of my Lego off the shelves and stuff. So I took this one outside. I knew where this session had to be. And I was going for that dare here, and we'll see if I am able to hit it in the end. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk too much about the video, but I will say some of my warm-ups here were just hitting right. So if you're keeping your eyes on some of those whirlies, they take multiple tries many times, but the warm-ups were feeling right. A couple of trade spikes started feeling right, and it was good. I knew I was getting into the zone, and I felt really good about hitting this trick. Another thing is that I knew I had a length of time in front of me. I wasn't rushing this session. I was just getting into it, and I find that the longer your session, the better the chance you have at hitting that trick you're going for. And now, obviously, you might say, oh, well, yeah, the longer you do it, the more chances you have to do it. Yes, yeah, you're right. But I'm saying the longer session in terms of, as opposed to shorter sessions. So let's say 30 minutes of Dama. If I play a 30-minute straight session, I feel like I have much better odds of hitting a trick I'm going for, rather than 3 10-minute sessions throughout the day. Because once you start getting into those longer sessions, you start, adjusting to the way you're playing more than you could do in a short session, if that makes any sense at all. I find with a 10-minute session, no matter how many 10-minute sessions I have, it takes 5 of them or whatever to really get the feel and get into the motions before you can really start honing in your tricks, feeling them, adjusting, and getting that trick that you want to hit. So if you happen to only play Dama in 10-minute sessions and you're struggling to hit your tricks, that's my first piece of advice. Go for a longer session. You'd be surprised once you start getting into the zone just how much better you can get. Also, hey, here's something exciting. I know that this video in itself is pretty much a Kendama themed podcast at this point, but if you want to check out a more established Kendama themed podcast by chance, Adam, or better known as the host and creator of Cafe Kendama, I think he's the creator. Anyways, Cafe Kendama has the Review podcast, which is a kendama and coffee themed podcast, which, yes, getting to the point, I actually appeared on recently in the episode that he dropped on Friday, I believe. So if you want to go check that video out after this one, you'll get through this 30 minutes or however long, and then you're like, oh, I just want to hear this guy talk some more about kendama and stuff. Well, you can do that over on his channel. I'll try to remember to put a link somewhere. Otherwise, just type Cafe Kendama into your YouTube search bar of choice, and then you'll be able to find that episode with your boy in it. So that was super fun. Big thank you to Adam. It was fun to record, just talk Dama to someone. I talked about the Lego and the puzzles and the other stuff I do. And it's just cool. If you want to check out the audio, it would mean a lot to both of us, I'm sure. Now, as we roll forward into some more of the nitty gritty, I wanted to talk about a few things about the channel that may interest you if you're interested in the content or the way that it's going, or me personally. And one of those things is that I happened to be getting, I wasn't paying too much attention to this for a long time, but then I started paying attention when it got a little bit closer. I am getting a bit closer to hitting that monetization threshold on the channel, which is obviously super exciting, and obviously, unfortunately, not supplementary to the full-time job that I'm going to have to look for. But in all seriousness, I think it's going to be a cool little validation, and cool to, even if it's a 25-cent kickback on every video or whatever it may end up being, I think it'd be cool and a great motivator for me to keep making the content. Obviously I'm going to do it anyways just for the good feedback and stuff, but it is just a little thing I'd like to bring up, and I'd like to share the whole journey with you. I don't want to just, all I do is play kendama and that's it, and then you don't get that personal connection, or you don't get that kind of behind the scenes vibe. So I want to keep you up to date with everything that's going on with the channel. What's my business is your business if it's in regard to this channel in my eyes. So that's something interesting. And maybe you're trying to make a channel, or you want to do something. It is possible to hit that 4,000 watch hour threshold. I promise you, just put the work in. And so that's where the channel is going there. But I don't totally know what the process is. I don't know much. I talk a lot about a lot of things that I don't know too much about, but I think you have to apply to be in the YouTube partner program, and then I think maybe not a standalone video, but in one of these commentaries, I'll kind of bring that back up to you. What was the process like? How did I get it? I mean, assuming I can get in. Maybe I send them an email and they're like, oh, kendama is not child friendly or something, and they say no, but I don't think that'll happen. I'll keep you updated on the process, and just let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I'd like to be as transparent as possible, and I think that'd be cool for you guys to see. And as much as that tickles my excitement, I do have to say it's not the best timing. I know it's such a first world thing to complain about, but it's just a segue into my next point of discussion, which is the school grind that I am currently, and for the next few months will be on. I don't know if you've seen it already. Slowly, the number of videos I'm able to crank out is getting less and less, which is obviously heartbreakingly disappointing to me, and maybe to you. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you didn't notice, in which case I shouldn't have brought it up. But maybe you might see a smaller number of videos, or less consistency. And that's the reason. I'm trying to finish up my last semester of school. I'm a computer science student, or if you didn't know, you know now. And this being my last semester, I'm getting dink-doinked in the best possible way with schoolwork and assignments and projects, and work with a team. Okay, now I gotta find a team, and just all the things that go along with that. So I am incredibly busy, but I want you to know that literally every day I'm constantly still thinking of video ideas and playing kendama and doing all kinds of fun stuff. So if the videos aren't coming, don't think it's because I'm over it, I don't care anymore. No, I am just learning about networks and boring stuff. And then on the heels of that, you think, oh, it's all over, you're done school, oh, so great. And then, oh, well, now you have to find a job for the rest of your life. So that'll be the next part of the process. And it's just a busy time. At my age, it's a very busy time. I got lots of things to do. But so I'll keep you updated, especially in these commentary things. I like to keep it a little more personal, keep you up to date with what's going on. And that's just another one of them. The school grind, the work grind, things going on in the background. I'll keep you posted. I haven't totally decided yet if I'm going to leave the raw audio as well in the background from the video, but I do know there was like dogs barking really loud that actually like kind of scared me. If you see me like jump and don't hear a dog bark, it's because a dog barked, and if you do hear a dog bark, it's because a dog barked, and I apologize if it was like really loud. But I do like sometimes to keep the natural audio in from the video. It's like, you know, like windy, wind chimes, nature. It's a good vibe for Kendama, a little bit relaxing until the neighbor lets their dog out and ruins everything. But yeah, just a heads up if you see me react to a dog bark or you hear a dog bark, it was a dog barking. Now here's a fun kind of Kendama related tip that I don't know at what point in the video you'll actually see it happen, but I'll explain it now. Maybe it happened already, maybe it will happen and you won't have to question it. I found that when I'm juggling, specifically doing juggles with Kendama, a lot of times my hand will really start to dry out, and between my dry hand and the dry Ken, in this case it's a maple Ken, which I think might be feel a little more dry than beechwood, but whatever kind of wood it is, I find if my hand is dry and the Ken is dry, it's like super slippery, and I'm trying to throw and catch juggles, and it's like, you know, like you're trying to grab like a bar of soap and it keeps whoop, 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 coming out of your fingers. It feels like that, and it makes it a lot harder to throw and catch the juggles. So my solution, which came from a suggestion from, I think, what's his name, Pizza Froth or something, maybe he's around here. One of his tips was how key sweat is to playing Kendama. So I just straight palm to forehead, slap the sweat from my forehead onto my hand, rub it in, and it would give me so much more grip on the Ken, and it really seriously helped a lot with the juggles, keeping them under control, keeping the flip consistent, and being able to, you know, when you like kind of half catch it, rather than it just slipping out of your hand, it's like sticking to my hand. And there's your sweat Kendama pro tip. Just slap your forehead and it'll make your juggles a lot easier to control. To the topic of Kendama as well, and the channel as well, and I guess everything that I've said so far as well, I want to know what kind of things you'd be interested what you'd be interested in as kind of a detour from Kendama. Not a detour from Kendama, but kind of a tangent. Like, where can Kendama go that is like relatable to Kendama players, but not just here's how to do this trick, here's how to do this trick, here's how to do this trick, here's how to do this trick. And some of my ideas being, you know, what new shapes are there that aren't just new Kendama shapes, but like the Terrapel or like the Sumo, the large shapes. When I made that video about all the different shapes of Kendama, what of those are people interested in, Kendama players interested in as an aside? Because I know a lot of people, they get into a hobby and then anything else that's like, you know, like an aside version or in quote unquote like a knockoff or like a weird deviation from, they're not that into. So I'm wondering, as Kendama players, like, do the hardcore Kendama players like playing like other skill toys? Do they like other collectible things, other like yo-yos? Like, what else are Kendama players into that is kind of a natural next step that isn't going to like offend people? Like, not offend people, but you know what I mean when it's like, oh, you like Kendama, you can't say you like Kendama and then also do that thing, right? Like, you know that not everybody's like that, but there are people like that, and I'm just wondering what those stereotypical things are. Because, I mean, if I like the thing that the Kendama people don't like, I would just do the thing anyway, but there are some people that are, you know, really susceptible to what the community would think, and I just personally don't know what the community would think. But I do think the best example of that is just other skill toys, whether it be, you know, pen spinning or what's it called, the butterfly knife, or just other Kendama shapes, like even the pill. Like, do all Kendama players like playing the pill or are interested in it? Or like, if you're interested in Kendama and then you see a pill, you're like, oh, I don't care about that, that's not an actual Kendama. I don't know, it's an interesting thing to discuss. So let me know, where do you kind of draw your line as what fits into your, you know, not your definition of Kendama, but where Kendama can take you. Because maybe it can take you all the way to collecting Hot Wheels cars or something. I don't know, like, you like collecting Kendama, so you like collecting anything. I don't know where that line is drawn for people, and I think it'd be an interesting point of discussion. So let me know, where's Kendama taking you, and what else interests you that you could even vaguely relate to your love for Kendama. On that topic of things that aren't Kendama but can be related in some way, is my interest in Lego. And obviously that comes from really the only link being like the collection side of things and the display, I guess. I like to display my kendamas too. I think they look good on a shelf, like, you know, a row of soldiers. That's like, I don't know if you watch Adam Ragusa. Shout out Adam Ragusa for making all the tastiest foods. But what was I saying? Oh, displaying them like a row of soldiers on the shelf is kind of like displaying Lego. Obviously, displaying Lego, I think I shouldn't say obviously. In my personal unbiased, in my personal opinion, Lego looks better on a shelf than a kendama does. But it is something that I can draw tangent to, in just the collecting sense. But there is something that I want, a path that I want to take with Lego that I haven't really explored yet. Especially not on the channel. I mean, I've done a lot of Lego stuff on the channel. Whether that interests you or not, I do not know, because I do not even know who you are. But, oh, I just like swallowed a frog. But I don't know whether it interests you or not, but obviously Lego builds and Lego display have been major parts of the channel. But the one thing that I'm getting into that has not appeared in any way on the channel is Lego investing. Now, to some people that might be a totally normal phrase for them to hear. Oh, Lego investing. Ah, nice. But to some people that may be a totally strange phenomenon or strange thing you've never heard of. So just to very quickly get you up to speed, that's really, it's something very common as well. Like, this is not something that's like my own, oh, great idea, dude, or anything. This is something that a lot of people do, and that's just buying, pretty much just the buying and selling of Lego sets. But obviously it gets a little bit more deep when you start thinking about, oh, how can you find and source and buy sets for cheap, or, you know, find them on sale, or find them at a thrift store, or find them sealed, or keep them sealed, or just buy them and keep them sealed for 10 years and then sell them here, or eBay, or local pickup. And kind of just that whole idea of investing in physical Lego products is something that has really piqued my interest ever since the 2008 financial crisis. No, I'm just kidding. Ever since, recently I started getting into stock market investing and gambling all my money away. Not away. Gambling all the money in the world towards me. Gotta speak it into existence. But, yeah, so, what was I saying? Investing in Lego. Yes, I mean, I've got some sets that I got when I was a kid, and now you look them up and it's like, you know, they're 4 times their value. Like, I have this, like, Batmobile set that my grandparents got me for my birthday as a kid. You know, in all senses, it's just a toy, but then you see it reselling on the markets for 4 times its value, $400 some of these sets are going for, and I think it'd be a really cool space to get into. Also because I enjoy the sets, which is kind of a problem. It's not really good to be in the business of buying and selling stuff you like, because the buying part is very easy, but the selling part is absolutely not. So let me tell you what kind of my approach and what I think my tactic would be in the Lego investing world. Now, obviously, this has not been put into practice yet. I mean, I have bought a couple sets actually already that I plan to invest in that I will bring up in a second, but my 2 pieces of strategy going forward, I think, are this. One, if I'm going to buy a set anyway, and assuming it's not like a ridiculously expensive, like $200 set or something, assuming that I'm going to buy it anyway, what's the harm in buying 2 and then, you know, keeping the one for whatever use I wanted it for in the first place, which is probably to build and put on my shelf and look at every day before I go to bed, and then buying 2 so that that second one can stay sealed, and then even if I can ever sell that set for, you know, 1.5 times its value or any more than its value, it pretty much is just saving me money on that set that I was going to buy anyway. It's kind of like, it's not like a way to make money, it's just a way to kind of fund the hobby and keep it fun and bring different dimension to it. And then the second element is, say I find a good deal on a set, like the ones that I'm going to get to, I find them for 75% off or something, or not 75, for 25% off, which makes them 75% of their original value, which is pretty typical on places like Amazon and Walmart. Eventually sets will go on sale. You'll pretty much never find sets on sale through Lego themselves, so I mean, there's that if you're interested. Amazon deals, Walmart deals, Walmart, Amazon or Walmart. If I'm able to find a set that I kind of enjoy, that's like in a theme I like Star Wars or the Marvel sets I'm into, if I'm able to find sets like those at a good price, I think I will buy, again, 2 for investing purposes, with the intent that I invest in both of them and keep them both sealed and resell both of them. But this is where the thing comes in, where you like the stuff that you buy too much to want to sell it. If there comes a point when I'm like, oh, I've had this on my shelf sealed in the box for 10 years and now I am deeply emotionally tied to it and connected to it, I can't bear to get rid of it because it's so sentimental and old now that I'm old in 20 years. Now I have 2, so I can, if the value goes up, I'm able to comfortably sell one of them and I still have the other one left. And I know it's a really bad idea. It's a terrible investment strategy, to be totally honest, but I think it's going to be just a fun way to increase my collection, have fun with the hobby, add another dimension to it, because I mean, just building and buying Lego sets to build and display is one dimension to it. And then if I'm able to kind of integrate my hobby into a little bit of investing, a little bit of fun, selling, buying, keeping up with prices of sets, finding deals at thrift stores, like that's another element, is like if I find a set at a thrift store for like $2 and it's a $40 set, well, I can just flip that right there and then. I mean, that's really a whole nother topic on its own, the people who go to garage sales and buy. I've said this so many times, people who go to garage sales make their entire living going to garage sales and thrift stores and buying stuff for the cheap and flipping it on eBay. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I'd like to do that with the Lego stuff, and maybe one day I'll be buying cookie jars and candle holders too, who knows. I feel like that "who knows" kind of rolled off my tongue in a very stereotypical Italian mobster accent, which was not intentional, but it did make me think of a comedian I've been enjoying his clips of lately, who, I mean, he's really just had like 3 Netflix specials like over the years, and he continues to recycle the clips from them over and over on YouTube. But I do watch them, so I guess whatever he's doing is working. But that's Sebastian Maniscalco, Sabestianman. Okay, by then Google or YouTube will definitely bring it up. Just write comedy or something. I don't know how to spell the guy's name. But, you know, he's maybe like a 50-year-old, 40, cut him some slack, maybe 40-year-old Italian guy who, you know, just goes through in his routines like all the trials and tribulations growing up as an Italian boy and all these things with, you know, his parents and the way Italians and I guess Europeans in general are different than a lot of North Americans. And I just really enjoy his comedy, and a lot of it's really relatable, really funny to me as, again, a little Italian boy. So if you're interested in, you know, watching a comedy special, give him a try. He's a really funny character. I mean, his content or his material in general, you know, it's like it's not the funniest stuff I've ever heard, but him as a character and the way he delivers it is really entertaining to me, and I've been watching a lot of his stuff. So there's a little comedy recommendation. Still not better than Bo Burnham's Inside. I stand by that forever. Bo Burnham's Inside is the greatest piece of comedic media. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. I don't watch too much stuff, but Inside was pretty good. Sebastian's good too. Now we've touched on everything that's going on in the video, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to bring up in regards to the channel and potential monetization and which routes to go, what Kendama players like and don't like, what I want to do with Lego and the other things that I'm interested in. And I think we can kind of start to bring it full circle into the trick again that I'm going for right now, that juggle, and some tips that I have for it. So the first thing that I did mention that makes a major difference is outdoors. I think it's underrated. Going outside is underrated. Yes, that's exactly what I meant to say. But yeah, so I was going for this trick. I have, you know, like the big mat in my room, which, you know, it's like the foam tiles. Well, I made a whole video about them. Look up, "This Kendama accessory changed my life," or something superly over dramatic like that, and you'd be able to find that video. I've got those set up in my room. The ceiling is high enough. I've got technically enough space, you know, like there's physically enough space there for me to play and hit this trick. But as I was going for it inside, I wasn't able to, you know, progress on the trick too much. Like, felt like, oh, this is like really difficult, I'm having a hard time doing this. And I'm starting to think a lot of that was the limitation I was putting on myself since I was playing inside. Quick detour, I think there's a point right around here somewhere in the video where I actually had to like go back inside to upload the video file to my computer because I max out my phone storage, so that's why you just saw a little adventure happen right there. Anyways, I was going for this dare inside, and I feel like, kind of without even knowing, I was holding back because of like the fear that my Dama would like smash on the hardwood floor somehow, or I'd hit the wall or something. And that fear, I guess, must have been holding me back, because when I took it outside, I didn't need more physical space, but just knowing that I had the space and I could drop it on the grass, I could fling it into the tree without issue, I think gave me the confidence to, really figure this trick out. The elements that go into it include that early Ken flip, which I still find kind of funky. Like, I know I mentioned this before. I feel like I say that a lot. Oh, I know I mentioned this before. Maybe I just say the same thing in every video. But it's that pull-up action. I know a lot of people like pull it up, and while they're pulling up the Tama, like they're doing the spin at the same time, the Ken flip, at the same time, which looks, I think, a lot better than what I'm doing here. But I cannot get that to work. If I pull up and do the Ken flip at the same time, the Tama just, it physically does not go high enough. So my early Ken flip comes a bit later than it should, I guess. It's an early late, or a late early. But you see, like, I pull up and then hit the early Ken flip. So that's one element that I do kind of got to work on, and I guess that's a tip for you, just to hold off on that early Ken flip a bit if you're struggling with it. Made it easier for me. And then, the juggle is pretty standard. I've made a lot of videos talking about juggling tips, but the late Ken flip as well, you gotta hit that throw, however you get the Tama in the air after your juggle, you need to give it a lot of height. It's like ridiculous how much difference it makes when you just put a bit more force into throwing that Tama up after the juggle. It gives you so much more time to hit that late Ken flip. It's unreal. Once I was able to figure that out, somewhere progressing through this video, you might like notice a split second where I figure out I need to hit this Tama a lot higher to be able to get that late Ken flip. You'll see that happen, and then I'm able to just start really getting some good attempts at the trick. And there were even a couple wet tips where I was trying to hit this dare, and then it just didn't go in for me. But I knew it was feeling good. Near misses, the late Ken flips were coming, going into juggle, and I knew it was just a matter of time before I was able to crank this dare out. With a tiny bit of time left to work with, I do have one more thing noted down, and that's just adding on to the pile of things that I have going on outside of, Kendama and the hobbies I have. And that's that I gotta get my wisdom teeth yoinked out at some point in the near or possibly far future. So that's exciting, but thankfully one of them didn't even spawn in, so I only have 3 wisdom teeth. Let me know if you got yours yoinked. What was it like? Do you have a video of you acting all drugged out in the car? Let me know. With all of that said, I will try to tie this piece in to the point in the video where I do manage to nail this trick down. You'll see it felt really good. It felt like it was a long time coming, and it was that feeling of relief. I finally hit it. I'll cut to a slow-mo just so you can see the technicality of the trick and the Ken flips and all that goes into it. And that ultimately wraps it all up. You saw the whole journey. You've heard everything I have to say. You know what went into this dare. Thanks, Squabbles, for bringing this dare up to me. It made for a really fun grind, really fun day, and hopefully a really fun Kendama commentary session that you've enjoyed. If you're this far, I hope you enjoyed it. Give me all your thoughts, your feedback, your dares, anything you want to say. I'm open to hear it. This is a two-way conversation, and with that, I will leave you to the comment section. Have a good day, and thanks for checking this out. As always, peace.